Good morning, my friends. It's Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thank you for joining me today on my Facebook Live on Friday, August 14th, I think it is today. Yeah, the month is flying by, right? Just half a month to go, and then we're into September, so hard to believe. So how is everyone? Thank you for joining in. Leave a comment, and say hi. Let me know where you're from, where you're tuning in from, even if you're watching the replay. So nice to have you take some time out of your day. So how is everybody's week? We had another kind of unsettled week, I should say. And this morning, oh my goodness, we had so much fog. I think because we had some rain last night, and yeah, it's slowly been lifting this morning, but we've had all kinds of stuff this summer, that's for sure. Okay, so make sure you say hello. I just want to see if we are live. Just gonna check here. Yes, I think we are. Awesome. Okay, so today we are going to take another look at the Stitch Stocking bundle. It was actually a July online exclusive. It is a Christmas set, but we're going to do a project that is not Christmas with it. And that is the beauty of these dies in particular. If any of you out there, and I know there are probably some who are quilters, let me know who you are. Leave a comment if you like to quilt or know somebody that quilts. I know we used to have a quilting group at our church, and they made just amazing quilts and baby quilts and things that they would send off to relief agencies around the world. And that was always a great outreach program, and such talented ladies. Anybody that quilts, oh my goodness, you guys are amazing. I don't know how you come up with your ideas, all the cutting that's involved. I am not a sewer or a quilter, but I'm always in awe. And I have a girlfriend that quilts regularly, and she did gift me with a beautiful quilt that she had made, and I treasure that so much, just because I know of all the work that goes into it. And my grandmother used to do a little bit of patchwork quilting, and I have one of hers, and they're just so special because, the work that goes into those is just phenomenal. So you guys are great. So I'm going to show you my paper version of quilting today, and maybe give you some ideas of some other things you can do with this stamp set and these dies. Well, more so the dies, okay? So close your eyes for a second. I'm just going to flip my camera around. And hopefully you can hear me today. If you cannot, please leave me a note if you can or cannot hear me. That would be awesome. I know I had some trouble with my mic the other time, but I think we're okay. All right, so this is the Stitch Stocking bundle. And like I mentioned, it was one of the July online exclusives, and it makes fantastic Christmas projects. Just putting that out there because, all of the greetings in here are meant for Christmas. So this is a stamp set with a really great greetings and some extra stamps that you can even stamp your quilts, quilted patterns, stitch stockings, that sort of idea. And these are the dies. Look at these dies, you guys. They are amazing. So you have your big stocking, and you have some other patterns here that cut out trees and a gift and little poinsettias and holly leaves, and then some other ones here. So really versatile. Even the holly berries are there. So a really, really great set to have in your collection for Christmas projects. But like I said, we are going to make something that is not Christmas related. And for that, I will pull out a couple of these dies that I'm going to show you how I use them in the project. Okay, so we're going to need these for the project that we're doing today. So just so you know what they look like. So this idea I found from Cindy Brombaugh, who is a demo in the States, and her, she is known by Cindy Leby Designs. She has done amazing work. I just love her stuff. So she came up with this really cool pattern, and I'm actually going to switch it up just a little bit because we're going to use wonderful designer paper as well. So this is the project we're going to make, and I'm going to show you how we did this. So it doesn't really look like a Christmas card, does it? So the beauty of this is all the designer paper right here that we're using in our quilt. So instead of using fabric, we're using paper. And the paper that I chose to use for this is our Delicate Dreams specialty paper. If you guys remember this, I have a lot of it cut up. This has been so popular, and I believe it is unavailable right at the moment, but it will be coming back. So if you're on the website, I believe you can put in a little notification there, check a box that says you would like to be notified when it comes back in stock. So make sure you do that, and they will send you an email, and then you can snatch that up. So this is just gorgeous. It has the beautiful sort of metallic, if you can see on this, can you see that metallic shine? I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's like a copper kind of metallic that is in this paper, and it's just so beautiful. And that's what makes it a specialty, is because of that extra little element there. All right, so this is the card we're going to do. So we're going to put together this little paper quilt today, okay? So what I did first, which is a tip that Cindy had, which I thought was brilliant, was I made a little guide as to the pieces I need and the patterns I need, okay? So this is the sheet, my little cheat sheet. So for pattern 1, it tells me which dies I need and what pattern of paper. Pattern 2, it tells me what pattern of paper, excuse me, and the die as well. And pattern 3 also, a different pattern. I use 3 different patterns of paper, okay? And it shows me the dies that I need. So for example, this one, you're gonna need 1 out of the solid, and you're gonna need 2 out of this one that cuts them in triangles in half. This one is basically this die. So it's going to cut out your kind of flag. So I know I'm going to need 4 of those. These pieces here, which is the remnant of this little triangle at the top, we're not going to use on the front of our card, okay? But if you wanted to use them on the inside or to decorate something else on the inside, you can. I did not use these pieces on the project, but they are available to you if you want to try to use them. Okay, and then this pattern, we're going to use this one twice. Okay, the one that cuts them in half. And then we're going to use this one that cuts them in 4. Okay, so that's just a little sort of cheat sheet for this particular pattern that we're going to make. So if you wanted to keep one of these on hand, it'll tell you, okay, I need this many and this die of that pattern, this many of the other pattern, and this many of the third pattern. And the beauty of this is that because we're using paper, and I'm sure quilters out there that use fabric run into the same, there are so many. We have so many beautiful designer papers that we can use to make this project. Same for quilters. You have so many, I'm sure. If you're an avid quilter or sewer, I'm going to guess you have got a stash of fabric in your house somewhere, or in your sewing room or your craft room. And same for you. You have so many choices, and just choose the colors you love or some that would coordinate together. Our designer papers are perfect for this, honestly. Like, you could make so many different cards with just this design, but they would all be different colors, different background colors, different ink colors. Like it's the possibilities are endless, right? Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way for a minute and let's get started. Okay, so what I am going to do first is bring out my base. So we're going to start with Secret C, okay, because that, number one, is a favorite of mine. Good morning, Janet. Nice to see you. Are you tuning in from Kamloops? Maybe with your mom. That would be great. Yes, so Secret C is also one of the colors in this particular designer paper. So this, we're going to start 11 by 4 1/4, score at 5 1/2. So this is going to be our main card base. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish this and set this aside. Okay, so that's that one. And then we need a piece for the inside. Okay, I am going to put a piece on the inside. And this is 5 1/4 by 4 of basic white. And then I'm going to use another strip of that designer paper and put it at the bottom here. So why don't we go ahead and just do this part. This little strip is actually 4 by 3/4. Okay, and this is where you could also, oh, hello, Nettie, if you're there as well, Janet. This is where you could use those extra corners too. So if you didn't want to put a strip here, you could use these extra little, you know, pieces here, maybe on the edges or tucked into the corners. Just if you don't want to waste them, right? You can probably find a place to use those. So, oh, now the sun is coming out. Excellent. Tuned in a bit late, so didn't hear what the die set is. Oh, Janet. Okay, so we are using the Stitched Stocking Bundle, which typically is used for Christmas, but we are going to make a card that is not Christmas with these dies, okay? So that is what our project is going to look like. We are going to quilt with paper today, and we are going to use 4 of the dies that are in that bundle, okay, and in the dies in particular. We're not going to actually be using the stamp set, but we're definitely using the dies. So these are the 4 small dies in that die set that we're going to use, okay? So we have our inside done now, and you could always write your greeting, stamp an extra greeting, but we're going to just set that aside for a minute. Okay, and then we are going to start our quilt. So I need something to mount all of these pieces on. So I've cut a piece of basic white. I'm going to bring out the pieces that I've pre-cut, okay? And this piece is cut at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, so this is where we're going to start creating our quilt. So I'm going to bring out my silicone mat. Yahoo, I have that bundle. Yes, I know. Here's another reason to get the bundle, because you can use it year round, not just for Christmas, okay? Perfect. Okay, so how are we going to start? So we are going to start with our center square, okay? So that would be my pattern 1 here at the top. So I'm going to start with this piece, okay? And then I'm going to go to these, what I'm going to call crown pieces, all right? That is with a different die. So for placement, first of all, I just want to place these on here so I know about where I want them without them hanging too far over the edge. So I hope you can see this. Okay, so let's just get an idea for placement before I actually tack these down. Okay, so probably about there. I'm not going to measure. I like to just sort of eyeball things, which can get me in trouble sometimes, but that's okay. And that is another reason I'm actually going to use the liquid glue, because it has a little bit of give if I am off a little bit. It gives me just a tiny bit of time to reposition. So I just want to lay these down so I have an idea for placement. So I think this can probably go over just a tad. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so let me put some glue on this center square. This is going to be our starting point, and everything is going to get built off of this center square. I'm not sure if that's how quilters do it, but that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so let's put this about in the center. Hopefully that's fairly straight. Okay, so there is our centerpiece. Now we can put on these 4 crowns, as I call them. So this is from a different pattern of that same designer paper. Okay, oops, now I don't want to put too much glue on. Okay, so this is the part that just takes the longest, but it's so worth it. Okay, so we'll put this one at the top. I'm going to put this one and just choose, you know, like another beauty of our designer paper is we have 2 different patterns on one sheet of paper. So you have lots of choices for the combination of colors that you want to put together, right? Let me just make sure you've got enough glue, but not too much. That's the trick, right? Okay, so I guess as long as you have most of it right at the edges. And this one with the little points. Okay. So let's put this one here. So we're basically putting one of these crowns, so to speak, on each side of this square. Okay. All right. So Janet, is there any sort of fire situation you need to worry about where you are? I hope not, because those have been so sad in parts of British Columbia. If any of you have been there recently or are planning to go, please be careful, because it is very sad right now what's happening. Hi, Kathleen. Sorry you're late. No problem. We're just sort of getting started with our quilting project. We're using the stitched stocking dies to make a quilt. So we're making a card that is not Christmas using these dies. All right, so our next step is to fill in these corners here, okay? So we're going to use these pieces for that. So we are going to use all 4. Yeah, and we're going to put those in the corners. Now, actually, I'm just going to put some glue right on here. That might help my fingers from being too sticky. No, more around the Okanagan area. Okay. I imagine the smoke is not so great. I was in Calgary this weekend, and they did have some smoke. Not that you could smell it so much, but you could see the haze in the sky for sure. You could see the haze. Okay, so there's one corner, and then we'll take another one and put it in this corner right here. So you just want to butt those up. And what's really pretty is you've got this stitching on this paper too, right? So just like you would if you were sewing a quilt, you have some stitching there. Okay, and then our third one, put in this corner right here. fourth one we'll put down here. So, yeah, that's the right side. Okay, so let's just slide that into place. Make sure, very even. If it hangs over the edge a teeny bit, that's fine, because we are going to mat this on another piece of paper. So you see how this quilt is coming together? Hi, Marlene. Yes, it is coming together. So next we're going to use all of these pieces here, these little ones in our third pattern. So first of all, I'm going to use those little triangles to fit in here. Okay, so let's just add some glue in here. And this is the one that we cut out with that, this die here to give us those 4 little triangles. Okay, so that's the die we use there, and we'll use this one for the other pieces. Okay, so let's put these in. So I'm going to use the third pattern that I chose. So we're just going to sneak this in here, like so. This one in this little nook at the bottom. Okay, and I'll turn it and do this one. And our last little one, you cleared up on Wednesday as you were leaving BC. Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, I'm sure they can't wait till this fire season is all finished. Okay, so those are the little ones. Okay. So now I'm going to finish by filling in the corners. So let's put some just around here. And we'll put this one in this corner. Like I said, it does take a little bit of time, but I think it's well worth it for sure. Just to see it all come together. Now you could probably add different, you know, patterns too with these dies. There's so many beautiful quilting patterns out there, right? Okay, I'm just gonna get some of this extra glue off there. And then we'll put our third one on. Ooh, sun is coming out now. That's so nice to see. It is supposed to be a nice weekend here, so fingers crossed. I would like to have a day without rain. Oh my gosh, we've had so much. And these mosquitoes, it is an infestation out there, girls. Oh, and I am reacting so bad. I'm actually swelling up and blistering my mosquito bites. I don't know why. I have never reacted that way before. So I don't know if it's a different type of mosquito or what is attacking me. And I don't even feel necessarily them biting me. And they just, all of a sudden, I have these welts. And it's just, oh, terrible. Okay, there is our quilt. What do you think? Think of that in different designer papers as well, right? You could do that with any paper we have. Okay, so these are those little pieces here that were cut out from these crowns, right? So I'm not going to use those, but if you wanted to use them on the inside of the card, you could. Now, if you have a little bit of white showing, mine isn't too bad. You can always just sort of snip that off just a little. Okay, but it's not too bad on this one. Okay, so now we're going to mount this on a piece of Secret Sea. And look at how it makes that pop a little bit more, those colors. Oh, just so great. So this Secret Sea is cut at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, so a 1/4 inch more than our quilt. Okay, so let's put this on here. And then we can put this pretty quick on top of our card base, but we have one more layer to put on. Okay, so there it is mounted. Okay, so I'm going to bring back our base here. And we are going to actually put a piece of basic white on first. So this is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to stamp a greeting under here. So here I did happy birthday, and this was taken from the Fabulous Saying stamp set. It was a January 26 product of the month. Now, I don't believe this is still available, but if you do have this in your stash, it is great for this because I wanted something a little bit larger that would fit. I didn't want just a tiny little greeting. And these ones, you know, are really good. And they have a couple of different fonts here too, and some pretty good greetings. Like these are probably good too. This font was just kind of fun, and I used the happy birthday. Now, do I want to use that again? I guess I could. Sending love. Well, maybe I could do that for my husband because our anniversary is coming up. Should I do that? Yeah, let's do that. And I won't tell him. I was going to make him a card anyways. So I'll just use this one. That would be great. All right, so we're going to use this one, and we're going to use Secret Sea ink, of course. Whoops, I don't want this the right way. So let's do that. So before I stamp this, I just want an idea of placement. Okay, so I'm not going to stick this down yet. I just want to lay this on top so I know whereabouts to stamp my greeting. Okay, so I have this whole area down here. So let's see if I can get this straight. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to straighten this a teeny bit. Sending love, so excuse my head if it's in there. We're going to put this right at the bottom. Is that straight? That's not too bad, hey? We'll see. All right, so now we can put this on. I hope that's straight. I think that's pretty straight. Okay, so let's put this on top of our base. Okay, our basic white. And then we will put our quilt, our paper quilt, on top. Okay, so let's put that about here. Just center it above. Now it's a little bit sticky still from the glue, but that will dry. Okay, so last step is to add this little embellishment in the center. Now, for some reason, I had some copper twine that I found, just a little bit on a spool. And I'm thinking, where is this from? And I think it must have been from a kit or a paper pumpkin kit. Which bundle am I using? I am using the Stitch stocking dies, and we're not making a Christmas card with that. So that was a July online exclusive. Okay. So I will show you that in a sec. So this, yeah, I think this must have come from a paper pumpkin or just a regular kit, because I don't remember where it would have come from otherwise. So we're going to use this. I should just trim this other edge off here a little bit. And this one. Okay, that's still not right. I had a hard enough time tying this bow, so I won't make it any shorter than it has to be. So we're going to put this right in the center. So it will cover up this beautiful little image a little bit, but I think you'll still get the idea. Okay, I'm going to put my glue dots, and then I'm going to put my little bow. Okay, so that copper I think is awesome, because we have a little bit of that copper bling here with the little posies in this dark pattern of the designer paper. Plus we have a little bit of that copper showing here on this piece of the designer paper. So awesome. So another piece of that suite for that stitch stocking bundle is these mini Christmas buttons. Now, for some reason, when I looked at these, I thought, oh, okay, so if you have a lot of patience, you could try to thread your twine in these little holes. And then I looked back and it said adhesive backed mini Christmas buttons, meaning no, you can't do that because they're adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to pull one off, and yes, there's adhesive on the entire back, so you could not put your twine through there, which is no big deal, but just good to know. But it is adhesive, so I'm just going to stick it right on top. And that is our card, and you can see they have a little bit of a shimmer, if you can tell on these buttons, the red and the white. So these are really good if you were to do a stocking, right? If you were going to use the dies to make a stocking, you could put the buttons at the top of the stocking there. So yeah, that is another option to use those buttons. Or I thought, well, let's put one on here as well. So there you go, girls. There is our non-Christmas stitched quilt card, I guess. I have to think of a name for this card. What should I call it? I'm not sure. So yeah, you could use it for any occasion. And this with the blues, you know, I suppose you could give it, well, I'm giving one to my husband, so I guess you could probably give it to a guy, right? That might work. So yes, so that uses our stitch stocking dies, and in particular we used these for, oh, where did my other one go? I had it somewhere. There was the other one. I will find it. So there are 4 of these little ones in the dies right here. Okay. All right. So let me get my camera. Close your eyes for a sec. I'm going to try to turn me around. And it worked. Yay. Okay, so I hope you got some ideas from that, showing, yes, this bundle isn't just for Christmas. It can be for year-round projects, even as a get well, or you could, you know, work in different patterns with those dies. So lots of possibilities. And like I said, the beauty is we have so much designer paper, and I'm sure we all have a lot of it in our craft rooms. So just pick out your favorites, or even mix and match if you want to. I mean, whatever colors go together would work with quilting, right? So yeah, I hope you guys, I'm debating whether or not I should buy this suite. Oh, yeah, well, it's great for Christmas, and this is just another way to use it year round, for not just for Christmas. So I was on the fence about this one too, to be honest, and then I thought, no, I think there's a lot of possibility with this one. So I did end up purchasing it, and I think I'll be using it for quite a while. So, okay, everybody, that's it for me today. I hope you're all doing well. Safe travels to anybody traveling this weekend. Anybody not, I hope we have a lot of sunshine that you can just enjoy this weekend. And wherever you are, if you're tuning in from a different part of the country or from somewhere in the US, I hope you have a great weekend. And we shall see you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye.